Once upon a time, there was a busy little ant who spent every day rushing around, carrying crumbs and seeds back to her nest. One day, while she was busy at work, she saw a beautiful butterfly fluttering past, sipping nectar from the flowers and dancing in the sunlight. "Hey, butterfly," called the ant, "why don't you come help me with all this work? We need to gather food for the winter, and it's almost here." The butterfly stopped for a moment and replied, "Oh, why should I do that? There is plenty of food for everyone. Why rush and work hard when you can just relax and enjoy the sunshine?" With that, the butterfly flew away, leaving the ant shaking her head in disapproval. Every day, the ant would work hard, gathering food and checking that the walls of their nest were strong enough to keep them safe during the winter. But every day, she would also see the butterfly flying around having fun, and she couldn't help but feel a little envious. One day, the ant decided that she had worked hard enough and that it was time to relax. So she went out to meet the butterfly and said, "You were right, butterfly. It's much more fun to play than to work. Let's spend the day together in the meadow." So they both went out into the meadow, where the grass was soft and the sun was warm. They played until late in the afternoon, and then the ant remembered that she had to go back to the nest to check on the food stores. She said goodbye to the butterfly and hurried home. But when she arrived at the nest, she found that it had been ransacked by a family of mice. All the food was gone, and so were the walls, which had been torn down to make a new mouse nest. The ant was shocked. She had worked so hard all summer to gather food and build up the walls of their nest, and now it was all gone. She flew into a panic, not knowing what to do. Suddenly, she remembered the butterfly, who had spent all summer playing instead of working. Maybe the butterfly had some food stored away that she could use. So the ant flew off to find the butterfly. She found her in the same meadow where they had played the day before, and the ant explained her situation. To her horror, the butterfly told her that she had no food stored away. She had spent all summer just having fun, and she had seen the ants working hard and thought that they would surely share their food with her if she needed it. The ant was shocked. She had never imagined that the butterfly would take advantage of her hard work like that. She thanked the butterfly for her help and flew off to find another solution to her problem. Suddenly, she had an idea. She remembered a field of berries that she had passed by many times during the summer. The berries were still there, and maybe she could use them to survive the winter. So the ant flew to the berry field and started eating the berries. They were sweet and juicy and filled her up quickly. Then she started collecting some of the berries and carrying them back to the meadow. She didn't have enough strength to carry them all at once, but she managed to bring back a small pile of berries that she could use for food. Then she flew back to the anthill to see if there was anything left of her nest. As she approached, she saw a large family of field mice scurrying about, carrying crumbs and seeds back to their new nest. "Excuse me," said the ant, "but I used to live here, and I'm wondering if you've seen anything that belongs to me, like some food or maybe some seeds." The mice looked at each other and burst into laughter. "You," said one of the mice. "Why, you're too small to have anything valuable. What we have found is far too big for you." The ant was very upset, but she knew that she had to stay calm if she was going to get any help. So she took a deep breath and said, "If you could just take a moment to look, I would really appreciate it. I need some food and seeds to start my nest again." The mice looked at each other again. They had never met an ant who spoke like that before. Most of them were rude and aggressive and not at all polite. Said the smallest mouse, "I suppose we could spare a few crumbs. We have plenty after all." And so the mice gave the ant some crumbs and seeds, and she was very grateful. She took them over to her pile of berries and sat down to eat. As she ate, she couldn't help but think about how foolish she had been to trust the butterfly. But she was also grateful that the mice had been kind enough to share their food with her. Suddenly, she heard a familiar voice behind her. Well, if it isn't the busy little ant. Come to join us for dinner, have you?" The ant turned around to see the butterfly standing there with a sneer on her face. "What do you want?" asked the ant. "Just wanted to see how you were getting along," replied the butterfly. "Having fun, are you?" "No," said the ant. "I'm not having fun. But it's my own fault. I chose to listen to you instead of my own common sense. And now I'm paying the price." "Oh, come on," said the butterfly. "Don't be so dramatic. It's just a little setback. We'll get through the winter somehow." With that, the butterfly fluttered away, leaving the ant to finish her dinner. The ant sighed. She knew that the butterfly was right. she would get through the winter somehow. She had survived much worse than this before. Besides, she had learned an important lesson. She had learned that being prepared is the best way to deal with whatever life throws at you. She had also learned that trusting the wrong person can be dangerous. From that day on, the ant worked even harder than before, preparing for any eventuality. And the butterfly, who had learned her own lesson about the importance of hard work, joined the ant and helped her with her work. Together, they were able to build a strong nest and gather enough food to last the winter. And so it was that the ant and the butterfly became friends, and they lived happily ever after. And they both learned a valuable lesson. The ant learned that it's important to trust your instincts and not be swayed by the opinions of others. The butterfly learned the importance of hard work and preparation. They both learned the value of friendship and working together to achieve a common goal.